Hola! Today is Wednesday, December 14th, 2011, and I am Darko. My website is ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. Also on YouTube, my channel is ddarko2012. Very repetitious. I don't like having to go through this, but either way, you can check that out. If you'd like to receive updates in that, you can put in your email address and stuff. Okay, I want to follow up. Oh yeah, and all the headlines and links will be in YouTube's video description. I want to finish up on this story because it's got a lot of a lot of garbage, but it's not really garbage. It's just a lot of really hardcore bullshit, is what it is. The FBI discusses the sovereign citizen movement. FBI is educating the American people about the threat of domestic terrorism. Mind you, they're not going to include the biggest terrorists of all that actually carry out the attacks, which is themselves, the government. It has already provided information on its website about eco-terrorists and lone offenders. Eco-terrorists, Because the first thing that comes to mind is the spraying of chemicals on the earth and throwing everything out of balance. And yet that isn't considered eco-terrorism. Also, we have lone offenders, lone wolves, like Obama was talking about, and Napolitano of Homeland Security. And in the latest installment, it discusses a sovereign citizen movement. So the U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies, i.e. fusion centers, are increasingly worried about the threat of domestic terrorism. Now, that's how they've been able to fuse all of these agencies together, is because of the threat of, the phantom threat of these, quote, terrorists. The FBI has updated its website by providing more information on this threat. FBI says that domestic terrorism, Americans attacking Americans because of U.S.-based extremist ideologies. I wonder what they're talking about. Check out my second video if you didn't see it. That's exactly what they're talking about. Comes in many forms and are a post 9/11 world. See, they created the world. They ushered in this new decade with a human sacrifice of 3,000 individuals. That's right. To kick it off the new century. That's how these illuminists really work or roll. And members of the sovereign citizen movement are anti-government extremists who believe that even though they physically reside in this country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. This is interesting because they're talking about, freemen and that. And if you live inside the United States, you can technically not be a part of the corporation. It is a corporation in the United States. It's a big bank account. And the sub-bank accounts are the slaves, tax slaves. And if you don't want to be a part of that fucked up, shitty system, well, then you're a terrorist. And that's what freedom is all about. I mean, you know how many Indians were fucking killed just to bring this freedom. So I think I don't need to really go into it anymore. It says here that the FBI is just beginning, and it says here, not every action taken in the name of sovereign citizen ideology is a crime, but the list of illegal actions committed by these groups and cells and individuals is extensive. That's why I said abandon the Tea Party, guys. It says here, in addition to the above, sovereign citizens commit murder and physical assault, threaten judges, law enforcement, professionals, and government personnel, impersonate police officers and diplomats, use fake currency passport, license plates, and driver's license, engineer various white-collar scams, including mortgage fraud and so-called redemption schemes. And like I said, it's bullshit, because why? These poor bastards don't have a life. And, this is the fucked up thing, is to become free, to get away from the United States corporation and being a slave, you actually lose your freedom. You become less free. You can't find a job. You don't have a license. You're going to get pulled over by the cops. You got to deal with these assholes who don't know anything about sovereign citizens movement or freemen or anything. I don't even think they know what the Constitution is. Obviously, they just bashing people over the head and pulling them out of cars, drawing blood. Just on the side of the road. So it goes in there and says sovereign citizens are often confused with extremists from the militia movement. So let's stop right here. Militia movement. These are patriots. These are guys that believe in the Constitution, and that's it. Now, I personally would like a confederation of states instead of a republic that, not so much as a republic, but I'd rather have a confederacy, to be honest with you. But that's just my personal opinion. But we have what we have, which is, George Washington, a Freemason, and all of his guys got together and they did a nice big psyop called the Revolution. And so now we got this Constitution. Now we have it. Now people are trying to fight for that old system that they had, where they had a little bit of freedom. And now these people are no longer patriots. They're a militia movement. They're extremists, right-wing extremists. They're terrorists. So it says here that they're different from these people, right? While sovereign citizens sometimes use or buy illegal weapons, guns are secondary to their anti-government, anti-tax beliefs. So please go in there and check that article out. So there's actually been reports in the past, 10, 20 years of foreign troops inside the United States. And it is a fact that state an Army National Guard, they actually have countries assigned to them, individual countries like Yugoslavia assigned to Ohio or something like that, Serbia assigned to Indiana, and they go over there and they train with them, and then they train over here. So like I said, this is a big deal. Why? Because what? And this is the Singapore Armed Forces biggest war games and the most complex unilateral one in the United States. Because I said that I don't think Marines or military, well, can't speak for the rest of the military, but I don't think Marines, being a Marine, that I don't think they're going to shoot citizens. They may have taken a poll and said, that they're going to do it 10 years ago or whatever in 29 Palms, but I don't think they're going to shoot American citizens. And I think that the biggest worry is police, but the militarized police. Because, like I said, they don't swear an oath to the Constitution. But this is the thing. They're going to have foreign troops inside the United States. That's the kicker. You're going to have foreign troops who are going to have no beef, doing whatever to American citizens. And then you're going to have the militarized police, which obviously they just don't give a fuck anymore. It says here, emergency alerts soon to go wireless in New York, Washington metro areas. FEMA is scheduled Thursday to conduct a final check of the wireless emergency system that broadcasts the consumer mobile devices in the area, i.e. tracking devices, cell phones, in the area of New York City, revealed the official in charge of the program on Thursday. And of course, they did this in New Jersey, Sprint did, and it caused panic. Drivers sent or got 11 text messages in 11 minutes before it crashed. So they're going to send these little text messages out to you while you're driving, and you could get in a car crash, right? But it says here, now look at this. They're going to use this one isolated incident. This has probably been going on since cell phones have been incorporated into society. And now they use that one story came out 2 days ago, and then should American ban cell phones for drivers? So it goes in there and says that a national advisory board wants all 50 states to prohibit cell phone users, even with hand-free sets. So pretty interesting. My take on it is, why are they doing this? Well, just like computers, they had computers way back, in the 50s. I mean, they were actually sending technically text messages or faxes back in the 40s in World War II. So they had computers. They didn't want to roll them out too quick. Could scare people. They had the big old cell phones. They could have had them smaller, but they didn't, because they would have scared the shit out of people. And now they're little tiny speaking stones, and they carry them around, and their little GPS device. But hey, even the sheeple who are oblivious to the police state, Big Brother, the New World Order, whatever, they may want to avoid a checkpoint. And they may want to have someone who creates a website and says, here, people go into a centralized location and they just text where all the checkpoints are. You can get up-to-date things to avoid these future checkpoints that are going to be everywhere, coming on or off the expressways, on main rural routes, stuff. You know what I mean? When they start shutting down, when people start, when the hoopleheads or the people start banging their pots and pans, or really more than banging their pots and pans, or they got nothing left and they start getting violent, and stealing and then defending their property, they're going to shut down the town, like in China that they're doing right now, and they're going to try to starve them out. And so if you have your cell phone, you might be able to tell other people to avoid certain areas, and they don't want you to be able to use that cell phone as a tool like the computer. They want it to be able to. They want you to use it so you can become more enslaved. I'm sorry I went too into that, but that's basically what it is. That we have brain scans should not be used in court for now, said, should an offender's sentence be decided on the basis of a brain scan. A group of neuroscientists have put together a report from the Royal Society to assess this issue and other ways that progress in brain science and how it might impact law. So it says here, neuroscience is making waves in court. An Italian woman convicted of murder recently had her sentence reduced on the grounds that her behavior, i.e. her social programming, could be explained by abnormalities in her brain and genes. So this is not really all that good, because it's going to have people not be responsible for their actions anymore. And the scary thing is, once they do these brain scans, they may just do like a pre-crime type thing where say, well, you would be your gene pool and stuff, and your brain scan says that you would be more prone to be more violent. So let's just go ahead and lock you away before you do anything to protect you from yourself. So as the United States has more people not in a relationship than ever before, and Generation Y from an Australian article says it's a relationship-free zone. Abusive teenage relationships to be classed as domestic violence, as Home Secretary announces law shakeup. Then we have poll little love for big government. Americans fear big government, and they tell you why. Because a party fueled by a sharp spike of Democrats. What? Oh my God. Paris bans beggars from its high streets and tourist spots to protect Christmas shoppers from poor people and the homeless. Also, our streets are hit a crisis point. I guess this is in the UK. There are too many small stores and thousands must be shut, says PM's retail guru. TV expert unveils 28-point plan to revitalize the market. So you want to bring in a big Saks Fifth Avenue and get rid of those little mom and pop shops that clutter the area. Gary Johnson, Gingrich's proposed the death penalty for marijuana. Then we have Florida County will throw parents of truant kids in jail. And like I mentioned before, students at school that don't want to get vaccinated will be considered suspended. And then while they're not away from school for a while, for a certain amount of time, truancy kicks in. And then the child is CPS. They're kidnapped, abducted from the parent, because they don't want to vaccinate their children. So now, if children are truant, i.e. they don't take their vaccinations, the parents will go to jail, and the children will be CPS. Mother and daughter who flouted council ban each fined £500 for feeding pigeons in their garden. Magistrates feared elderly could slip on the droppings. Next up, judge lets fracking opponents fight on. Gas Drilling Awareness Coalition pleaded First Amendment violations in its lawsuit against the American-Israeli anti-terror think tank that contracted with Pennsylvania's Office of Homeland Security to keep tabs on environmentalist protests against natural gas drillers, a federal judge ruled. So they're the eco-terrorists. No, these people are considered the terrorists. That's right. Oil executive, military psyops experience applied, getting special forces, I think it's Marines in that, to haggle these protesters who don't like what's going on with fracking. Take off that tie to save energy, Chilean men told, so take off your tie. And then it says here, labor to set up online shopping task force, a task force for everything now, truancy and everything else will be set up to look at the tax threshold on online purchases. So the Facebook is hiding your messages from you, then they unveil a facial recognition system or tool. Then they launch a suicide prevention effort. So if you're a little sad that day or depressed, you don't like what's going on, you could be suicidal. And if you could be suicidal, well, then they're going to shut you down. They don't like people actually killing themselves. They want to keep them alive so that they can torture them, put them in a hospital, in a mental facility, and then basically medicate them and experiment and research on. And there's probably many other nefarious purposes for this application, but it's also going to increase the snooping on each other, spying and that. DARPA researching smartphone apps to fly drones. Well, that's funny because they already have that app available to fly drones. The Matrix is here. What if you could download new skills? Scientists say it's possible. Like that one video that guy was saying, I don't know why, Neo didn't want to be in the Matrix. He was just kind of a big party pooper. And it says the Matrix future isn't far off, and there'll be plenty of people who go on board with it. Charles Gregor de Rothschild to advise extramavir, whatever, basically talking about biosensors and emotion detection technology, which is a patented biosensor smart garment for infants, and it will track vital signs and send alerts to a parent's cell phone if needed. And some schools are taking attendance by wearing these things. Also, they're strapping onto the elderly. I'm sure that Facebook app will be part of the Matrix. Broward Malls requests to ban body scanners at airport over radiation. Microsoft admits Patriot Act can access EU-based cloud data. Then we have MPAA head Chris Dodd on online censorship bills. China's the model. Then we have ISSA piracy bill would give holder broad new powers to police the internet. Even Google's chairman says online piracy bill would criminalize the internet. But he's more concerned with climate change than internet takedown. Frozen planet fake. That's right. We did it for the polar bears. BBC, we fake it all the time. Thousands of birds may crash landing in Walmart park, and there's a butter shortage in Norway because of the chemtrails spraying rain. Thank you.